1926.1431 A hoisting personnel, Subpart CC, 4. Subpart C. Cranes and derricks in construction. The requirements of this section are supplemental to the other requirements in this subpart and apply when one or more employees are hoisted. 1926.1431 A. The use of equipment to hoist employees is prohibited except where the employer demonstrates that the erection, use, and dismantling of conventional means of reaching the work area, such as a personnel hoist, ladder, stairway, aerial lift, elevating work platform, or scaffold, would be more hazardous, or is not possible because of the project's structural design or worksite conditions. This paragraph does not apply to work covered by Subpart R, steel erection, of this part, and also does not apply to routine personnel access to an underground worksite via shaft as covered by Section 1926.800, underground construction, of this part. 1926.1431 B. Use of personnel platform. 1926.1431 B. 1. When using equipment to hoist employees, the employees must be in a personnel platform that meets the requirements of paragraph E of this section. 1926.1431 B. 2. Exceptions. A personnel platform is not required for hoisting employees. 1926.1431 B. 2 I through B. 2, 4. Into and out of drill shafts that are up to and including 8 feet in diameter. See paragraph O of this section for requirements for hoisting these employees. In pile driving operations, see paragraph P of this section for requirements for hoisting these employees. Solely for transfer to or from a marine worksite in a marine hoisted personnel transfer device, see paragraph R of this section for requirements for hoisting these employees. In storage tank, steel or concrete, shaft and chimney operations, see paragraph S of this section for requirements for hoisting these employees. 1926.1431 C. Equipment setup. 1926.1431 C. 1. The equipment must be uniformly level, within 1% of level grade, and located on footing that a qualified person has determined to be sufficiently firm and stable. 1926.1431 C. 2. Equipment with outriggers or stabilizers must have them all extended and locked. The amount of extension must be the same for all outriggers and stabilizers and in accordance with manufacturer procedures and load charts. 1926.1431 D. Equipment criteria. 1926.1431 D. 1 through D. 4. Capacity. Use of suspended personnel platforms. The total load, with the platform loaded, including the hook, load line and rigging, must not exceed 50% of the rated capacity for the radius and configuration of the equipment, except during proof testing. Capacity. Use of boom-attached personnel platforms. The total weight of the loaded personnel platform must not exceed 50% of the rated capacity for the radius and configuration of the equipment, except during proof testing. Capacity. Hoisting personnel without a personnel platform. When hoisting personnel without a personnel platform pursuant to paragraph B. 2 of this section, the total load, including the hook, load line, rigging and any other equipment that imposes a load, must not exceed 50% of the rated capacity for the radius and configuration of the equipment, except during proof testing. When the occupied personnel platform is in a stationary working position, the load and boom hoist brakes, swing brakes, and operator-actuated secondary braking and locking features, such as pawls or dogs, or automatic secondary brakes must be engaged. 1926.1431 D. 5. Devices. 1926.1431 D. 5 I. Equipment, except for derricks and articulating cranes, with a variable angle boom must be equipped with all of the following. 1926.1431 D. 5 I. A. and B. A boom angle indicator, readily visible to the operator, and a boom hoist limiting device. 1926.1431 D. 5 2. Articulating cranes must be equipped with a properly functioning automatic overload protection device. 1926.1431 D. 5 3. Equipment with a luffing jib must be equipped with 1926.1431 D. 5 3 A. and B. A jib angle indicator, readily visible to the operator, and a jib hoist limiting device. 1926.1431 D. 5 4 through D. 5 7. Equipment with telescoping booms must be equipped with a device to indicate the boom's extended length clearly to the operator, or must have measuring marks on the boom. Anti-2 block. A device which automatically prevents damage and load failure from contact between the load block, overhaul ball, or similar component, and the boom tip, or fixed upper block or similar component, must be used. The devices must prevent such damage/failure at all points where 2 blocking could occur. Exception: this device is not required when hoisting personnel in pile driving operations. Instead, paragraph P2 of this section specifies how to prevent 2 blocking during such operations. Controlled load lowering. The load line hoist drum must have a system, other than the load line hoist brake, which regulates the lowering rate of speed of the hoist mechanism. This system or device must be used when hoisting personnel. Note: free fall of the load line hoist is prohibited, see section 1926.1426, d. The use of equipment in which the boom hoist mechanism can free fall is also prohibited, see section 1926.1426, a.1. Proper operation required. Personnel hoisting operations must not begin unless the devices listed in this section are in proper working order. If a device stops working properly during such operations, the operator must safely stop operations. Personnel hoisting operations must not resume until the device is again working properly. Alternative measures are not permitted. See section 1926.1417 for tagout and related requirements. 1926.1431 d6. Direct attachment of a personnel platform to a luffing jib is prohibited. 1926.1431 e. Personnel platform criteria. 1926.1431 E1 through E7. A qualified person familiar with structural design must design the personnel platform and attachment/suspension system used for hoisting personnel. The system used to connect the personnel platform to the equipment must allow the platform to remain within 10 degrees of level, regardless of boom angle. The suspension system must be designed to minimize tipping of the platform due to movement of employees occupying the platform. The personnel platform itself, excluding the guardrail system and personal fall arrest system anchorages, must be capable of supporting, without failure, its own weight and at least 5 times the maximum intended load. All welding of the personnel platform and its components must be performed by a certified welder familiar with the weld grades, types, and material specified in the platform design. The personnel platform must be equipped with a guardrail system which meets the requirements of Subpart M of this part, and must be enclosed at least from the toe board to mid-rail with either solid construction material or expanded metal having openings no greater than half an inch, 1.27 centimeters. Points to which personal fall arrest systems are attached must meet the anchorage requirements in Subpart M of this part. A grab rail must be installed inside the entire perimeter of the personnel platform except for access gates/doors. 1926.1431 E8. Access gates/doors. If installed, access gates/doors of all types, including swinging, sliding, folding, or other types, must 1926.1431 E8I and E8-2 not swing outward. If due to the size of the personnel platform, such as a one-person platform, it is infeasible for the door to swing inward and allow safe entry for the platform occupant, then the access gate/door may swing outward. Be equipped with a device that prevents accidental opening. 1926.1431 E9 through E12. Headroom must be sufficient to allow employees to stand upright in the platform. In addition to the use of hard hats, employees must be protected by overhead protection on the personnel platform when employees are exposed to falling objects. The platform overhead protection must not obscure the view of the operator or platform occupants, such as wire mesh that has up to half an inch openings, unless full protection is necessary. All edges exposed to employee contact must be smooth enough to prevent injury. The weight of the platform and its rated capacity must be conspicuously posted on the platform with a plate or other permanent marking. 1926.1431 F. Personnel platform loading. 1926.1431 F1. The personnel platform must not be loaded in excess of its rated capacity. 1926.1431 F2. Use. 1926.1431 F2I and F22 personnel platforms must be used only for employees, their tools, and the materials necessary to do their work. Platforms must not be used to hoist materials or tools when not hoisting personnel. Exception: materials and tools to be used during the lift, if secured and distributed in accordance with paragraph F3 of this section, may be in the platform for trial lifts. 1926.1431 F3 materials and tools must be 1926.1431 F3I and F32 secured to prevent displacement. Evenly distributed within the confines of the platform while it is suspended. 1926.1431 F4 the number of employees occupying the personnel platform must not exceed the maximum number the platform was designed to hold or the number required to perform the work, whichever is less. 1926.1431 G attachment and rigging. 1926.1431 G1 hooks and other detachable devices. 1926.1431 G1I hooks used in the connection between the hoist line and the personnel platform, including hooks on overhaul ball assemblies, lower load blocks, bridle legs, or other attachment assemblies or components, must be 1926.1431 G1I A and B of a type that can be closed and locked, eliminating the throat opening. Closed and locked when attached. 1926.1431 G1-2 shackles used in place of hooks must be of the alloy anchor type, with either 1926.1431 G1-2 A and B a bolt, nut and retaining pin in place, or of the screw type, with the screw pin secured from accidental removal. 1926.1431 G1-3 where other detachable devices are used, they must be of the type that can be closed and locked to the same extent as the devices addressed in paragraphs G1I and 2 of this section. Such devices must be closed and locked when attached. 1926.1431 G2 rope bridle. When a rope bridle is used to suspend the personnel platform, each bridle leg must be connected to a master link or shackle, see paragraph G1 of this section, in a manner that ensures that the load is evenly divided among the bridle legs. 1926.1431 G3 rigging hardware, including wire rope, shackles, rings, master links, and other rigging hardware, and hooks must be capable of supporting, without failure, at least 5 times the maximum intended load applied or transmitted to that component. Where rotation-resistant rope is used, the slings must be capable of supporting without failure at least 10 times the maximum intended load. 1926.1431 G4 eyes and wire rope slings must be fabricated with thimbles. 1926.1431 G5 bridles and associated rigging for suspending the personnel platform must be used only for the platform and the necessary employees, their tools and materials necessary to do their work. The bridles and associated rigging must not have been used for any purpose other than hoisting personnel. 1926.1431 H trial lift and inspection. 1926.1431 H1 a trial lift with the unoccupied personnel platform loaded at least to the anticipated lift weight must be made from ground level, or any other location where employees will enter the platform, to each location at which the platform is to be hoisted and positioned. Where there is more than one location to be reached from a single setup position, either individual trial lifts for each location, or a single trial lift, in which the platform is moved sequentially to each location, must be performed. The method selected must be the same as the method that will be used to hoist the personnel. 1926.1431 H2 the trial lift must be performed immediately prior to each shift in which personnel will be hoisted. In addition, the trial lift must be repeated prior to hoisting employees in each of the following circumstances: 1926.1431 H2I and H22 the equipment is moved and set up in a new location or returned to a previously used location. The lift route is changed, unless the competent person determines that the new route presents no new factors affecting safety. 1926.1431 H3 the competent person must determine that 1926.1431 H3 I through H3 4 Safety devices and operational aids required by this section are activated and functioning properly. Other safety devices and operational aids must meet the requirements of sections 1926.1415 and 1926.1416. Nothing interferes with the equipment or the personnel platform in the course of the trial lift. The lift will not exceed 50% of the equipment's rated capacity at any time during the lift. The load radius to be used during the lift has been accurately determined. 1926.1431 H4. Immediately after the trial lift, the competent person must 1926.1431 H4 I and H4 2 conduct a visual inspection of the equipment, base support or ground, and personnel platform to determine whether the trial lift has exposed any defect or problem or produced any adverse effect. Confirm that, upon the completion of the trial lift process, the test weight has been removed. 1926.1431 H5. Immediately prior to each lift, 1926.1431 H5 I and H5 2, the platform must be hoisted a few inches with the personnel and materials/tools on board and inspected by a competent person to ensure that it is secure and properly balanced. The following conditions must be determined by a competent person to exist before the lift of personnel proceeds. 1926.1431 H5 2A through D. Hoist ropes must be free of deficiencies in accordance with section 1926.1413 A. Multiple part lines must not be twisted around each other. The primary attachment must be centered over the platform. If the load rope is slack, the hoisting system must be inspected to ensure that all ropes are properly seated on drums and in sheaves. 1926.1431 H6. Any condition found during the trial lift and subsequent inspections that fails to meet a requirement of this standard or otherwise creates a safety hazard must be corrected before hoisting personnel. See section 1926.1417 for tagout and related requirements. 1926.1431 I. Reserved. 1926.1431 J. Proof testing. 1926.1431 J1 and J2. At each job site, prior to hoisting employees on the personnel platform, and after any repair or modification, the platform and rigging must be proof tested to 125% of the platform's rated capacity. The proof test may be done concurrently with the trial lift. The platform must be lowered by controlled load lowering, braked, and held in a suspended position for a minimum of 5 minutes with the test load evenly distributed on the platform. 1926.1431 J3. After proof testing, a competent person must inspect the platform and rigging to determine if the test has been passed. If any deficiencies are found that pose a safety hazard, the platform and rigging must not be used to hoist personnel unless the deficiencies are corrected, the test is repeated, and a competent person determines that the test has been passed. See section 1926.1417 for tagout and related requirements. 1926.1431 J4. Personnel hoisting must not be conducted until the competent person determines that the platform and rigging have successfully passed the proof test. 1926.1431 K. Work practices. 1926.1431 K1. Hoisting of the personnel platform must be performed in a slow, controlled, cautious manner, with no sudden movements of the equipment or the platform. 1926.1431 K2. Platform occupants must. 1926.1431 K2 I through K2 3. Keep all parts of the body inside the platform during raising, lowering, and horizontal movement. This provision does not apply to an occupant of the platform when necessary to position the platform or while performing the duties of a signal person. Not stand, sit on, or work from the top or intermediate rail or tow board, or use any other means/device to raise their working height. Not pull the platform out of plumb in relation to the hoisting equipment. 1926.1431 K3. Before employees exit or enter a hoisted personnel platform that is not landed, the platform must be secured to the structure where the work is to be performed, unless the employer can demonstrate that securing to the structure would create a greater hazard. 1926.1431 K4. If the platform is tied to the structure, the operator must not move the platform until the operator receives confirmation that it is freely suspended. 1926.1431, K. 5. Taglines must be used when necessary to control the platform. 1926.1431, K. 6. Platforms without controls. Where the platform is not equipped with controls, the equipment operator must remain at the equipment controls, on site, and in view of the equipment, at all times while the platform is occupied. 1926.1431, K. 7. Platforms with controls. Where the platform is equipped with controls, all of the following must be met at all times while the platform is occupied. 1926.1431, K. 7, I, through K. 7, 3. The occupant using the controls in the platform must be a qualified person with respect to their use, including the safe limitations of the equipment and hazards associated with its operation. The equipment operator must be at a set of equipment controls that include boom and swing functions of the equipment, and must be on site and in view of the equipment. The platform operating manual must be in the platform or on the equipment. 1926.1431, K. 8. Environmental conditions. 1926.1431, K. 8, I, and K. 8, 2. Wind. When wind speed, sustained or gusts, exceeds 20 miles per hour at the personnel platform, a qualified person must determine if, in light of the wind conditions, it is not safe to lift personnel. If it is not, the lifting operation must not begin, or, if already in progress, must be terminated. Other weather and environmental conditions. A qualified person must determine if, in light of indications of dangerous weather conditions, or other impending or existing danger, it is not safe to lift personnel. If it is not, the lifting operation must not begin, or, if already in progress, must be terminated. 1926.1431, K. 9. Employees being hoisted must remain in direct communication with the signal person, where used, or the operator. 1926.1431, K. 10. Fall protection. 1926.1431, K. 10, I, and K. 10, 2. Except over water, employees occupying the personnel platform must be provided and use a personal fall arrest system. The system must be attached to a structural member within the personnel platform. When working over or near water, the requirements of Section 1926.106 apply. The fall arrest system, including the attachment point, anchorage, used to comply with paragraph I of this section, must meet the requirements in Section 1926.502. 1926.1431, K. 11. Other load lines. 1926.1431, K. 11 I, and K. 11, 2. No lifts must be made on any other of the equipment's load lines while personnel are being hoisted, except in pile driving operations. Factory-produced boom-mounted personnel platforms that incorporate a winch as original equipment. Loads are permitted to be hoisted by such a winch while employees occupy the personnel platform only where the load on the winch line does not exceed 500 pounds and does not exceed the rated capacity of the winch and platform. 1926.1431, K. 12. Traveling equipment other than derricks. 1926.1431, K. 12, I. Hoisting of employees while the equipment is traveling is prohibited, except for 1926.1431, K. 12, I, A, through C. Equipment that travels on fixed rails, or where the employer demonstrates that there is no less hazardous way to perform the work. This exception does not apply to rubber-tired equipment. 1926.1431, K. 12, 2. Where employees are hoisted while the equipment is traveling, all of the following criteria must be met. 1926.1431, K. 12, 2, A, through E. Equipment travel must be restricted to a fixed track or runway. Where a runway is used, it must be a firm, level surface designed, prepared and designated as a path of travel for the weight and configuration of the equipment being used to lift and travel with the personnel platform. An existing surface may be used as long as it meets these criteria. Equipment travel must be limited to boom length. The boom must be parallel to the direction of travel, except where it is safer to do otherwise. A complete trial run must be performed to test the route of travel before employees are allowed to occupy the platform. This trial run can be performed at the same time as the trial lift required by paragraph H of this section, which tests the lift route. 1926.1431 K 13 Traveling Derricks. Derricks are prohibited from traveling while personnel are hoisted. 1926.1431 L Reserved. 1926.1431 M Pre-lift meeting. A pre-lift meeting must be 1926.1431 M1 through M3 held to review the applicable requirements of this section and the procedures that will be followed. Attended by the equipment operator, signal person, if used for the lift, employees to be hoisted, and the person responsible for the task to be performed. Held prior to the trial lift at each new work location, and must be repeated for any employees newly assigned to the operation. 1926.1431 N Hoisting personnel near power lines. Hoisting personnel within 20 feet of a power line that is up to 350 kV, and hoisting personnel within 50 feet of a power line that is over 350 kV, is prohibited, except for work covered by Subpart V of this part, power transmission and distribution. 1926.1431 O Hoisting personnel in drill shafts. When hoisting employees into and out of drill shafts that are up to and including 8 feet in diameter, all of the following requirements must be met. 1926.1431 O1 and O2 The employee must be in either a personnel platform or on a bosun's chair. If using a personnel platform, paragraphs A through N of this section apply. 1926.1431 O3 If using a bosun's chair, 1926.1431 O3 I through O3 7 The following paragraphs of this section apply: A, C, D, 1, D, 3, D, 4, E, 1, E, 2, E, 3, F, 1, F, 2, I, F, 3, I, G, H, K, 1, K, 6, K, 8, K, 9, K, 11, M, N. Where the terms personnel platform or platform are used in these paragraphs, substitute them with bosun's chair. A signal person must be stationed at the shaft opening. The employee must be hoisted in a slow, controlled descent and ascent. The employee must use personal fall protection equipment, including a full body harness, attached independent of the crane/derrick. The fall protection equipment must meet the applicable requirements in section 1926.502. The bosun's chair itself, excluding the personal fall arrest system anchorages, must be capable of supporting, without failure, its own weight and at least 5 times the maximum intended load. No more than one person must be hoisted at a time. 1926.1431 P. Hoisting personnel for pile driving operations. When hoisting an employee in pile driving operations, the following requirements must be met. 1926.1431 P1 The employee must be in a personnel platform or bosun's chair. 1926.1431 P2 For lattice boom cranes, clearly mark the cable so that it can easily be seen by the operator at a point that will give the operator sufficient time to stop the hoist to prevent tube locking, or use a spotter who is in direct communication with the operator to inform the operator when this point is reached. For telescopic boom cranes, clearly mark the cable so that it can be easily seen by the operator at a point that will give the operator sufficient time to stop the hoist to prevent tube locking, and use a spotter who is in direct communication with the operator to inform the operator when this point is reached. 1926.1431 P3 If using a personnel platform, paragraphs B through N of this section apply. 1926.1431 P4 If using a bosun's chair, 1926.1431 P4 I through P4 6 The following paragraphs of this section apply: A, C, D, 1, D, 3, D, 4, E, 1, E, 2, E, 3, F, 1, F, 2, I, F, 3, I, G, H, J, K, 1, K, 6, K, 8, K, 9, K, 11, I, M, and N. Where the terms personnel platform or platform are used in these paragraphs, substitute them with bosun's chair. The employee must be hoisted in a slow, controlled descent and ascent. The employee must use personal fall protection equipment, including a full body harness, independently attached to the lower load block or overhaul ball. The fall protection equipment must meet the applicable requirements in Section 1926.502. The bosun's chair itself, excluding the personal fall arrest system anchorages, must be capable of supporting, without failure, its own weight and at least 5 times the maximum intended load. No more than one person must be hoisted at a time. 1926.1431 Q. Reserved. 1926.1431 R. Hoisting personnel for marine transfer. When hoisting employees solely for transfer to or from a marine worksite, the following requirements must be met. 1926.1431 R1 and R2. The employee must be in either a personnel platform or a marine hoisted personnel transfer device. If using a personnel platform, paragraphs A through N of this section apply. 1926.1431 R3. If using a marine hoisted personnel transfer device. 1926.1431 R3 I through R3 4. The following paragraphs of this section apply: A, C, 2, D, 1, D, 3, D, 4, E, 1 through 5, E, 12, F, 1, G, H, J, K, 1, K, 8, K, 9, K, 10, 2, K, 11, I, K, 12, M, and N. Where the terms personnel platform or platform are used in these paragraphs, substitute them with marine hoisted personnel transfer device. The transfer device must be used only for transferring workers. The number of workers occupying the transfer device must not exceed the maximum number it was designed to hold. Each employee must wear a U.S. Coast Guard personal flotation device approved for industrial use. 1926.1431 S. Hoisting personnel for storage tank, steel or concrete, shaft and chimney operations. When hoisting an employee in storage tank, steel or concrete, shaft and chimney operations, the following requirements must be met. 1926.1431 S1 through S3. The employee must be in a personnel platform except when the employer can demonstrate that use of a personnel platform is infeasible. In such a case, a bosun's chair must be used. If using a personnel platform, paragraphs A through N of this section apply. If using a bosun's chair. 1926.1431 S3 I through S3 4. The following paragraphs of this section apply: A, C, D, 1, D, 3, D, 4, E, 1, E, 2, E, 3, F, 1, F, 2, I, F, 3, I, G, H, K, 1, K, 6, K, 8, K, 9, K, 11, I, M, N. Where the terms personnel platform or platform are used in these paragraphs, substitute them with bosun's chair. The employee must be hoisted in a slow, controlled descent and ascent. The employee must use personal fall protection equipment, including a full body harness, attached independent of the crane/derrick. When there is no adequate structure for attachment of personal fall arrest equipment as required in Section 1926.502 D15, the attachment must be to the lower load block or overhaul ball. The fall protection equipment must meet the applicable requirements in Section 1926.502. The bosun's chair itself, excluding the personal fall arrest system anchorages, must be capable of supporting, without failure, its own weight and at least 5 times the maximum intended load. No more than one person must be hoisted at a time.